Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon. I'm the Royal Archangel URIEL, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucker responsibilities. And this video right here is going to be about, is you a short-term thinker or is you a long-term thinker? Now, I know that may sound cliche, but a lot of times we don't place that energy on the things we actually need to direct that energy towards in our life. You see what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times it sounds good to say, are you a short-term thinker or a long-term thinker when it comes into talking about goals and projections and creativity. But a lot of times this is a virtue. This is a principle that you need to utilize in your day-to-day life. And for the most part, it be a lot of things that y'all be involving yourselves into in y'all lives that you need to be looking at that like, is this short-term or long-term? And this is why a lot of y'all who still dealing with generational curses, which all of us are, but this is a lot of reasons why we manifest the wrong job, or we manifest still having flunked out relationships, or we're not getting the relationships that we actually want. Because we're placing ourselves into a situation where we're not looking at the things we need to look at with the mind state of, is we're thinking short term or long term. And the only time we even think like that is when we looking at it as far as Jewish mysticism or this magic square, the goals and the shit that they try to have us do, the job, or you work this job 7 years, you'll get to this position, or you work this job 15 years, you'll get to this position. You do these people's hair and nails for this so long, you'll have this credential, you'll be respected and be able to make this much money at the end of this procession, or whatever the fucking case may be. And that's the only time y'all actually consider long-term and short-term, due to the fact of the object look like it has something in it for you. So you could look at it and size it up with your left brain like to see how much is it worth you putting your time and energy into it or not. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to let you know if it's going to be short-term or long-term based upon is you getting crumbs or you getting a whole loaf of bread. But at the same time, it be things that's actually needed to be paid attention to in y'all lives, especially if you spiritual, that you need to realize that that's the actual thing you need to be. Look, a lot of times this be a lot of y'all video games. A lot of times this be a lot of y'all sexual habits. A lot of times this be a lot of y'all eating habits. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all stress eat and shit like that. And you're just looking at that in a time of you going through something. So you're not even looking at it in the mind state of, is this going to be something I'm going to do for long term, or is this going to be something I'm doing for short term? And should I deal with this right now? You don't even look at it like that. So before you know it, that develop into another illness, that develop into another problem. And then I don't care if you have health or weight problems or not. You wake up in emotional distress all the fucking time. You wake up in emotional insecurity all the motherfucking time. So you got to realize that there's certain things in your life that we don't be focusing that energy on if this is short term or long term. You see what I'm saying? A lot of us be wanting to be seen in certain ways and not project a certain energy in some way, shape, or form. So it may block us from attracting a certain relationship we want. Block us from attracting a certain job we want. Block us from a certain relatable energy with you and a family member that you actually want. You know what I'm saying? Due to the fact of there's certain things that you're doing that you don't even look at like this shit should be short term or this shit should be long term. And this is boiling down to individuals not actually taking their life serious enough. You know what I'm saying? And life is not serious. You see what I'm saying? You need to enjoy yourself and lighten yourself up. But there's certain things that you do need to take serious in order for you to be free enough to even enjoy yourself. And if you're not handling those ground bases, if you're not handling your 1, 2, then for the most part, you're not going to get to 3. And 3 is the only way you're going to be comfortable in your environment or your surroundings with some form of familiarity or something you actually want to experience. But if you ain't got your 1, 2 together, you as the one, as an individual, is going to be highly unrelatable, because you're going to feel like the whole world is resistant towards you. So that little duality is going to be flunked out in your life. You never reach the 3. You see what I'm saying? So you always got to understand that birth, life, death situation also. But at the same time, start to realize that there's things in your actual life that's so familiar, so rooted in your subconscious, that every time you dive in those energies, you're not even considering the thought of, is this going to be short term or long term? You know what I'm saying? So keep that in motherfucking mind. Start reevaluating your life and start looking at everything as a percentage level. You see what I'm saying? You might look into the mirror too goddamn long. Is you gonna do that for long terms or short term for the rest of your motherfucking life? Because calculate, I know this is a dumbass example, but calculate it. When you stay in the mirror all day, you're late for work. When you don't stay in it all day, you get to work on time. So you don't even be thinking about the mirror in that aspect. You just like, sometimes I'm on work, sometimes I'm not, but I'm gonna make sure I look all right. But here's the thing. Why you not looking at when you go into the mirror as short term or long term? Is this something you're gonna carry with you in all your other jobs? Or is this something that you're gonna deal with now and cut it short? And therefore you'll be able to manifest you being more responsible or respectable at these jobs that you go towards, because you won't be the individual that have more tardies than other individuals. You see what I'm saying? So you will be able to get your hours you want and the days you want off a lot faster than someone else that we can't even count on because they always fucking late. Now, I know that's a dumb example, but it made all the sense in the world of what I'm trying to talk about, so you can relay it to all the real shit in your life that's not stupid, as an example. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's just little, it's just the best way I can explain it, but there's little things in our lives that we need to pay attention to and start to really look at it. It's like, okay, am I going to, and a lot of times it boils down into thoughts and feelings, too. You have certain thoughts and feelings that lead into certain actions that people see from you. And there's certain actions that you need to cut short and start making those things short term. And there are certain things you need to do in your life that you need to start looking at like, okay, this is what I want to be long term. Otherwise, there will be no such thing as procrastination or feeling like you got to have this, that, and the third and this person first before you can have this look or do this, that, and the third. And all that will go out the motherfucking window. And I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. You see what I'm saying? And learn when motherfucking shit needs to be short term and shit needs to be long term in areas of your life that you never focus that energy on. And I love y'all.